Hey guys, it's Brian here at the Piece of Eden Homestead. Thought I'd come out here today and see if we can make some use of all of that beautiful sunshine. We're gonna take that sunshine and turn it into electricity to power my cabin here. I have generators, I'll show you that, but I would like to get away from the reliance on fossil fuels as much as I can, especially with the gas prices these days. That's going to drive our propane prices up too, I'm sure. But we're set for this year, and hopefully by next year we'll be completely solar powered out here. Eventually, I'd like to. Oh, sorry, the neighbors are sighting in their guns for deer season's coming up here, but I'd like to eventually add a hydroelectric system as well, just for backup against this, and maybe a wind generator or two. But for now, we'll just be happy with the solar panels and getting those put in. And actually, I did the calculations on the panels that I have, and they should actually have more power than I used to use at my old house in town. So as long as the sun's shining, those will be more than enough to supply me with what I need. But if the sun's cloudy for a few days, it'd be nice to have that wind and hydro power backup. But for now, we'll just get into the solar system, and then the solar system off into space. Anyway, for now, we'll just get setting up our solar panels, and that'll be a good start for now. When we got this place, the current electrical setup is like this. We have some generators out back, and they're in their own shed. I'll show you those in a minute. But there's a starter switch right here. All you have to do is hold down on this. That little light blinks, and you can just barely hear it from the house. And then once that light becomes solid, now you have power coming to the house. Now this center switch here on the alternating current breaker box, you click that on and it powers this outlet, which comes over and powers this rectifier, which converts the alternating current from the generator out in the shed to direct current, and that comes down here and charges the battery bank. I've got 4 marine batteries down here and an inverter here to run alternating current stuff in the house. Now that's a very small inverter and won't power things like the washer and dryer or the well pump. So every time I need to repressurize the pressure tank for the well pump, I have to turn on this breaker here, which runs alternating current out to the well pump in the root cellar. So, and then there's other breakers on this. One is for the water heater, electrical outlets, the washer and dryer, and more electrical outlets in the house. But those only work while the generator's running. When the generator's not running, we have to run either DC, which most of the wires in the house are wired, or most of the lights in the house are wired in 12-volt direct current, and then that inverter down there gives me some alternating current to just one multi-outlet strip, so I can run my computer or television or lights from that, or charge my phone or whatever. And then here is actually a charge controller for a small Harbor Freight solar panel system, and I'm looking to upgrade that to the bigger solar panels that we have out there. So I put this T-post into the ground, and the sun is there to the south. There's some trees there, and the point being is I want to get the solar panels up high enough that those spruce trees aren't casting shade on them. As you can see, my current solar panel gets shaded, and not so much in the summer, but in the fall and winter it gets shaded for a good part of the day by those trees, and it doesn't produce nearly as much electricity as it could. The new solar panels I plan to put up, I've got a stack of lumber over there that I can use to build up a frame and bring that up high enough that it won't be in the shade of those spruce trees. So back to the T-post. I stuck this T-post in the ground, and you can see the shadow from that. And where the tip of that shadow is, I've been throughout the day putting sticks in the ground wherever that tip of the shadow is, and that way that will give me a direct line east to west, and that'll show me where my posts need to go, so that the frame of the solar panel can be up in perfect alignment with the east, west, north, south of the sun, so it'll get as much sun as possible. Now, when you're putting your solar panels up, you have quite a bit of direct current power coming in, and you have to have pretty big wires to handle that power, and the wires are expensive, so you want to be as close as possible to where your battery bank is. So that's why I'm doing it right here in the side yard, is because right through that window on the other side of that room is the battery bank. Now I could put it on the other side of the house, which would probably be even closer to the battery bank, but the issue there is it goes downhill to the river there, and it'd be pretty difficult to build. Plus there's a bunch more spruce trees on that side that would cast shade all day. So we're going to do it here. This is the best spot for the solar to be, other than possibly up on the roof, but I want to be able to easily maintain them, so I'm going to put them down here right in the side yard. So the house is on the other side of the woodshed there, and this is what we call the generator shed. And pardon the mess, we've got some chicken feed bags, but anyway, back here we have two generators, one there and one there. This is the one that I use primarily, but it's set up to where I can just flip some breakers in there and run either this one or that one to send power to the house. Now if I come out behind the generator shed here, this is our 1,000-gallon propane tank, and what I'm trying to do is get away from not only using fossil fuels, but also from paying for fossil fuels. And if you look up here, oh, it's got just about 60%, 58% or so of this tank is full, and we had that filled up to 70% late this summer, and I'm hoping, beyond hope, that 58% will last me for several years once I get the solar panels hooked up. A while back, I came across a great deal on these nice big solar panels, and they're 250 watt panels. They were only they had them listed for $100 each, but I got 10 of them for what was, I think, $800 or $900, and they've been sitting here unfortunately collecting dust because I have not yet installed them. The cost of putting them in isn't so much now because I mill my own lumber and I can build the frames here for just the work of doing it. But where I run into problems is I have to have a charge controller capable of handling all that power, and that charge controller is fairly expensive, and I also want to get an inverter so that I can run all of the bigger equipment in the house, all the appliances and stuff, off of one inverter instead of that small one that's not powerful enough to handle it. So when I was milling earlier this summer, I milled a bunch of 4x4s and 2x6s so I can build some good substantial frames to set up here. And since today it is almost 60 degrees on November 7th, I figured it would be a good time to get started on digging the post holes before the ground freezes. Now our post holes are going to have to be 4 feet deep because the frost level goes down 42 inches. And that's a lot of work. I just had a heart attack a couple weeks ago and I'm still recuperating from that, but this needs to get done, so I'm just going to have to take it very easy and slow and get the holes dug so that I can put in these solar panels. Although my line of sticks that I put in for the marcation of the east-west solar line are over there, I'm actually coming back here to dig the post holes because they're, first of all, more in line with the access to the battery bank, and second of all, I don't want to block the walking path out of that door from the back door of the house. So I'll get started here and get digging. This may actually take more than just today for me to do this because, like I said, I have to take it real slow and easy. I'm on restrictions from the doctor about the heart attack situation, but I'll put these post holes here and then over there, and then build a frame to put the solar panels on, and then I can probably install the solar panels by myself, but when it comes time to actually install the frame to the posts, I'm going to have help here because I'm not supposed to lift over 10 pounds and might exceed that a little bit, but I still try to be very careful because now that I'm living the life of my dreams in such a beautiful, beautiful place, I certainly want to last as long as I possibly can. So trying to get healthy. The doctor told me not to be stagnant, so I'm doing the best I can to get a little bit of exercise throughout the day until I get rid of these restrictions and get back to my normal routine. Once I do that, I should be getting quite healthy quite quickly. So bear with me as I go slowly through this. I'll probably make several parts of this video. If you've ever dug post holes by hand, you know that the deeper you go, the harder it gets to spread the handles apart to grab the dirt out of the bottom. So I found if you dig a shallow hole on either side of the main hole, then you have a lot more room to spread the handles apart, because otherwise that would hit the side walls of the main hole. So dug that out, and now I'll keep going. So even though our frost line is 42 inches, I always like to go, a little extra deep, because that's I always, do things more than what they need to be. So, everything I like to build like a tank. But anyway, I know that to the bottom of these green handles here is 48 inches. So when I'm down in the hole, I made it past those handles, so I know that I'm deeper than 48 inches. Now by going that little extra, it also leaves me room to put a couple inches of gravel in the bottom of the hole. That keeps water from pooling against the end grain of the post and keeps it from rotting as quickly. So we'll have it all set up here. I may as well go ahead and get the post in the ground and lined up. So the hole's all dug down, and it turns out that the post hole digger digs a hole about the same size as the number 10 canning can. So I know I can fill this up with, I got some crushed limestone and pea rock in here, and it's about 5 or 6 inches deep. So I'm just gonna dump that into the hole and give that post something to sit on. Not sure if you can see down there. And now I've got 4 or 5 inches of gravel in the bottom of that hole, and that'll keep the post out of any possible pooling water in the bottom of the hole. Now, with how sandy our soil is, it's almost pure sand. I could probably just skip that step altogether, but better safe than sorry, so I thought I'd do that before I put the post in. So those posts are, I believe, 13.5 feet long. So that should put the center of my solar panels up, with the post being 3.5 or 4 feet deep. Well, 4 feet minus the 5 or 6 inches. Anyway, pretty close to 10 feet to the center of my panels, which should definitely get me above the shadow line of those spruce trees over there. So I'll get this in, and I think I'm going to call it a day, because I definitely have been working up a little bit of a sweat, and you know, the doctor told me to take it easy for the first month or two, and so since my heart rate's up, I figure that's enough exercise for the day. Come back out tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be this nice 60 degrees on November 7th. It's amazing. So, but I'll finish setting this post and then come out tomorrow and get the other post in, and then I can start working on the frames. For now, I think I'll just wrap this video up, and we'll come back to it in part 2 of setting up the solar system. So thanks for watching. Always remember, peace. What is it? Peace, love, and togetherness. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.